Herkese merhaba, çok teşekkür ederim. Bugün burada olmaktan büyük gurur duyuyorum. Konunun verdiği ve konuşmamın verdiği içerikle ben bu konuşmayı İngilizce yapacağım. Welcome everyone, nice to have you here and thank you very much for having me in these TED Talks. I'm going to start talking about living abroad and adapting and continuous learning. If somebody told me when I was younger that I would live abroad and traverse the world, I would have hardly believed them. Would I be intrigued? Probably yes, but not convinced. Living abroad means adapting. Living abroad means speaking a different language, hanging out with people you don't know. It almost means restarting. In short, it means reshaping everything you learned and experienced and molding it into a new life. Nelson Mandela once said, "There's nothing like returning to a place and that finding it unchanged, whereas yourself changed." So this is exactly how I felt after living in the US for 12 years, and coming back to Istanbul. But would I change my mind to living abroad? Absolutely not. Every experience, every challenge shaped me who I am today and continues to shape me and the life I lead. I consider myself very lucky. I grew up in a very accepting and supporting family where they have stood by me, supported my decisions, and created a nurturing environment for me at all times to be independent. And then I have my chosen family, which is Tarsus American School, my friends, which have led me with the confidence, with the vision they provided me. And I took these visions and the behaviors throughout all my life, shaping my life, and I felt the strong belonging and the alumni support at all occasions, wherever I moved. The best part of my journey is to start this journey with my best friend, who is the love of my life, my husband, who's 1 year senior than I am, from Tarsus as well. We started this journey knowing that leaving our beloved ones behind, learning new things, and we supported each other throughout this journey. And then our daughters, they were also always supportive, easygoing, adapted to the life abroad. They even start questioning us if we stayed somewhere more than 5-6 years. Were they anxious every time we moved? Of course they were. But they accepted the change, they tried to adapt, and enjoyed their life moving around. So, my takeaway from this is always embrace the change and try to adapt to it, because that is going to make you overcome all the challenges in life. My first move was to Germany to follow my husband, then boyfriend. I decided to learn German, and therefore I was living a new life. I was very excited, and then I have the emotional curve, it comes with emotional toll, moving abroad. I was happy, and then all of a sudden, one day we were sitting at a restaurant, having lunch, and I burst into tears. And, we were both surprised because it seemed like we didn't have a reason for me to cry. But the reason was not being able to communicate with the waitress and not being able to understand what was written in the menu card. That sounds stupid, right? But I accepted that, I kept moving, and I just tried to learn the language and adapt to the environments. Balancing life abroad is challenging, especially with the career. I moved from places to places, and every time I move, I had to find a new job, I have to find a new employer. But what kept me focused is determining my priorities, accepting the slowdowns in my life. And passion. Try to find your passion early in the life, because that always helps you guide. I was studying in the university, and I had various internships, various jobs, and I was studying business administration. So most of my friends took over finance or auditing jobs, but I knew right there and then from my internships, I didn't want to follow that route. I always liked the dynamic lifestyle of events and congresses, and I always followed my heart, trying to find what made me happy. After my university years and Boston, this time we moved to New Jersey. And it was yet for me to start again finding a new job. And I knew I wanted to work in events. So I applied for a position using my network and some connections that I made in my previous working environments and applied. I had a good education. I have been living in the US for 2 years then, and I had some working experience. So I was expecting a project team position, let's say. And the company didn't have that position open, but they offered me a receptionist position. You know, we have labels, right, sometimes, and I was quite disappointed because I wasn't expecting that. But then I also knew I wanted that job, so I accepted it. Here I come to hardworking and going out of your comfort zones and going beyond what is asked for you. I worked really hard. I took on tasks that was not my job. I always asked if anything I can help, and I moved up within 2 months to a different position, and by the time I was leaving 6 years later in the company, I was managing the largest project in the company. So don't shy away, take over additional tasks, and always improve yourself, always learn. As long as you're learning, you're progressing, and that's what's going to differentiate you, and that's what's going to help you grow. On the way to improvement, one thing is important. Don't shy away from asking help to people you know, to people you admire. Find an expert, find a leader in your interest, and then ask them what you can do. Just find the opportunities, find the gaps, how you can improve yourself. And then, don't think you can do it all by yourself. Also ask for help from your personal network. And trust people. Just to give you an example, after 12 years and 2 kids, this time we came back to Turkey. And it was my own country, so I was very happy to be back. But again, my priority was my kids because they were little, so I took time off to prioritize spending time with them and adjusting to our new life. My best friend from, again, here, who is in the audience today, Ipek, kind of supported me, facilitated, so I got back to work again. And this time, we set up a company from scratch with another childhood friend of ours, and we grew it together. On the way, we supported each other, and she still continues to run the company successfully. Whereas for me, I had to move again after 5 years, and this time to Dubai. Another country, another culture, completely different than what I'm used to, and I had to start from scratch again. You would think you became, easy, you learned this, how to adapt, but it's not. So I used my social network to find schools, housing, life, and then I joined groups to find new friends, new people, selected, really establish strong friendships, and continue to explore the culture, the environment, and prepared a new network. With my new network, that also helped me, again, to establish my work. So this time, I start working as a freelancer. It's really important to adjust yourself to where you move, and growth and comfort does not exist together. So always take risks, always accept the change, and always adapt yourself. And definitely get out of your comfort zone if you want to grow in life. Before reaching the final takeaways or the messages, I'd like to just tell you briefly about my latest experience From Dubai, this time we moved to Netherlands. My girls were in their teen years, and we moved to a country that is really providing most independency for kids. So my involvement in their lives was minimized. Therefore, I could go back and start my career again. You know, I've been sometimes criticized by outsiders, you know, how I can give up my career to follow my husband or to prioritize my kids. But I never lost anything from doing that. In fact, I really think I gained a lot of experience, a lot of learning, a lot of adaptation. So this time, network helped me again, finding connections, and I found a job at Philips, and guess where? Of course, in the events department, in the events team. Again, I started as a freelancer because they didn't have an open position, but I worked hard, proved myself with my experience, with my passion, taking over tasks, and before you know, I became a full-time employee, and I excelled quite quickly, and now leading the events team for EMEA and Central Eastern Europe. One thing I want to tell you is that when you're moving and living abroad, make sure you do not do time abroad. Make sure you live your life abroad. Always accept the changes and adapt and enjoy life. Within that, you know, embrace the emotional curve. Definitely explore and integrate yourself into the new cultures, because that's going to make your life easier, and that's going to excel you in your career or life journey. It has been a wonderful journey for me. I enjoyed every step. Of course, you know, living abroad or moving around taught me a lot of things. Some things the hard way. Some things now I think back and I could have, you know, be prepared, but I didn't, but that was also okay. I'd like to say my journey continues, and this summer we're moving to Switzerland, yet another country. This will be my 8th country, and I'm really excited. This time especially because I don't have to give up my job. It'll be an easier move. But all I can say, despite all this moving around, look where I am right now, among you at Tarsus American School. This is my roots. I mean, being a Turkish person in all my international career had made me very proud. And the school has been my roots, and it has been a priceless addition and an everlasting place in my head and in my journey. Thank you very much.